Bryan and Brian, 15 of 39. Stairs or elevator? Joseph asked as he locked the hotel room door. Stairs? Elizabeth responded, left brow raised in mock derision and hands thrust palm skywards at her hips. Always stairs for going down, right, Brian? She added, offering him her hand. I go stairs, Brian agreed, shaking his head at his mother's offered hand. Stairs it shall be then, Joe acknowledged, nodding solemnly, but I for one will use the elevator when we check out. Holding that big suitcase down 2 flights is not something I will do if I don't have to. Fair, Beth conceded, Mr. Literal. That suitcase was awfully close to being overweight, and hauling 23 kilos down 2 flights when I don't have to is not on my list of things to do. Yeah, Beth said, bobbing her head back and forth. Wheels don't really help on stairs, and that bam, bam, bam is always so pleasant, she added with a wink. Joseph held the door at the top of the stairwell open and was careful not to let it slam shut. Brian, he declared as he followed his wife and child down the stairs, take Mama's hand. I no need, Brian began in protest before his father overrode him with an arm hanging low, elbow bent, palm forward, universally understand hand signal that declared, Halt! Take Mama's hand and let's count the steps as we go. Yes? Joe asked, eyebrow raised. I no want to, Brian replied, lower lip out thrust, his hands on his hips beneath the large bath towel he wore pinned around his neck in lieu of a bathrobe. You don't want to count the stairs? Joe asked. Okay, we can take the elevator. Brian exhaled hard. I count stairs, he grumbled. Excellent, Joe said with a conciliatory nod. Take Mama's hand and we can count together. Ready? Ready, Brian said without enthusiasm. Elizabeth, Joe asked, how many stairs do you think we will have to climb down to get to the first floor? I think, Beth said, tapping her chin with her left index finger and playing along with her husband's diversion, there will be 34 steps total, 7 on the first 2 segments to the second floor and 10 on the next 2 segments to the ground floor. Really? Joe asked in mock astonishment. Why would they be different? Brian, do you know? I know, he replied, head tilted to the side and curiosity engaged. Beth, would you tell us why, please? Of course, or as I say here, claro. I noticed that the ground floor has a taller ceiling than the 3rd floor. That happens a lot in hotels when we want the bottom floor to be prettier. That's why I think it will be 14 steps to the 2nd floor landing and then 20 more to the ground floor. This is very interesting, isn't it, Brian? Shall we count? I count, Brian declared. Excellent. Take Mama's hand and let's count, Joe said with a grin. Ready? 1, 2, 3. The 3 of them counted until they stepped foot on the landing. Wait, that was 7. Mama is right so far. Don't count again until our feet go down the next step. Ready? 8, 9. And down they counted to the 2nd floor landing. Brian, that is 14, as Mama said. Do you think there will be 20 more? Yes, Brian enthused. Let's count. Ready, Beth? You lead the count this time. Beth's prediction of the landing was spot on, but the lower flight had 1 extra step, making the total 35. Brian, after counting to 34, stopped on the bottommost step and looked at his mother. What's wrong, sweetie? She asked. 1 more step. I go 34, he replied. That's okay, honey. It's not bad that I was off by 1. We were estimating. Brian turned from his mother and motioned his father to bend low. Joe looked to Beth, raised his eyebrows, and then complied. He laughed as Brian whispered in his ear, saying, Yes, if that is what you would like to do, but it won't change how many steps there are. I do, Brian replied, nodding vigorously. Excellent, Joe said, grinning widely. Shall we do it together? Brian nodded, and Joe said, On my count. 1, 2, 3, jump! And father and son hopped from the last step to the ground. 34! Mama, win! Beth looked at Joe, shook her head, took the last step down, and a voice choked with emotion declared, Mama does win, as she scooped her son up and hugged him. Now let's eat. Tango, hombre!